Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a little while. Today we are going to be casting the Destiny Heroes series number 4, held by Destiny Star League. And another shout out to our new sponsors, Berserker Esports. So I just want to welcome you guys all to the show today. We have an exciting best of 9. It's going to be Magnath versus Lucasdart. And without further ado, both players are ready to go. So, first game is going to be on Oxide LE. And like I said, we're rearing to go, so we're going to get right into it. And it will be a best of 9. Magnath versus Lucasdart. Alright, in the bottom left-hand side, representing Team Platinum Heroes, it is our Protoss player, Magnath. And on the top right-hand side, this will be our blue Terran player. It is Lucasdart, representing Berserker Esports. And it should be an exciting series, guys. Both these players are at the top of their game with more room to improve. They're High Masters players, borderline GM. It is the start of a new season, so I'm sure they will get into GM in due time. Just want to shout out again Berserker Esports for sponsoring Destiny Star League and the event. And please, guys, in chat, let me know if there's any audio issues, any issues with my sound or the game sound. I haven't casted in quite some time, so I am just had to redo all my all my settings today. So I appreciate you guys letting me know. Thank you. So far, pretty standard opening. Both players just scouting each other, opting to get their expansions up earlier, so no real cheese in sight yet. Nothing sketchy going on. Magnath almost losing his probe here, but he's doing alright. Lucasdart still is just on one gas, so both players seem to be doing an economy build, getting their natural bases up to speed. And until we see some kind of decision in the build order, I think this will be kind of a run-of-the-mill opener. Obviously, a lot of respect between the two players. They're just making sure they don't miss any steps here and trying to get as much scouting done as they can. The Reaper will catch this probe before it gets too far into the base. It will be followed up by the Adept, however. So let's see if it can get inside, get anything done here. Taking a couple shots for free on the Marines. Almost getting that SCV. He will slightly delay the command center, but no harm, no foul. Magnath does end up losing his Adept, which would have been beneficial just to continue the scouting and just make sure that the Terran player isn't doing anything under his nose. This Reaper gets in completely free scotch. We'll pick off this probe off the bat. Magnath kind of distracted right now, not really paying attention. Reaper gets 2 workers there. And for a Reaper that was just supposed to initially scout, that is a great pickup. It will go down. And he's seen everything inside the main base, so he does know that the Robo is on the way. There's no Stargate play being done yet. Back home for Lucasdart. A couple more barracks going down. So we will see a bio-focused composition from him. I do like the early Raven. I think that's an excellent call. It can prevent any kind of observer camping at your base. And it can even be used for certain points of attack. In the mineral line, it can go harass the Protoss where need be. Looks like the natural doesn't have any shield batteries here. That would be the weak point. Another Adept coming on up just to get a shade up, try to do what it can. It might be able to pick off another worker. And this is pretty big. Almost gets that Marine as well, but the Marine will live. All these Marines, I don't know if you see, these Marines, they all have 1 health. True heroes. As for Magnath, he's decided to go for the Dark Shrine. So we will see these Dark Templar end up doing some sort of damage here. The Raven is following. They might be able to pick off a couple workers, but obviously the Raven was an excellent counter to deter that type of harassment. But Magnath can be as annoying as he wants with this, as long as he doesn't lose it. There's no Viking out yet, so to completely remove this harassment, you'd need to pick off the Warp Prism. But good on Magnath, just keeping Terran busy. He's taking his own 3rd behind this, and we will see him pump up his economy to a level which might be very threatening. Meanwhile, a DT walks in through the front, gets a couple Marines here. The Marines auto-attacking the command center there. A little bit of a misclick. And he does pick up the DT just in time. Really well done by Magnath. Again, keeping the Terran busy, keeping the pressure on the other side of the map. And his 3rd is well on the way. I don't think Lucasdart has even had a chance to scout for it. But you could imagine, given the amount of time he's spent in his own base, trying to deflect this attack. These DTs just getting tons of value. He's microing them very well. Raven will throw a turret down. I think that's an excellent call. Ooh, and the Warp Prism does finally get picked off. Great call, but throwing down the turret there. Now Lucasdart can refocus on the match and refocus on his macro. He must realize he's slightly behind now, just from all the harassment and the time loss. Meanwhile, Magnath is just pumping up more gateways, ensuring that he will have the right amount of forces to defend his 3rd. And there goes the migration of the probes. His 3rd will be saturated very quickly. We're going to see that Protoss economy kick in, where he's just going to really become a filthy rich Protoss, a Protoss aristocrat. And I think it's on Lucasdart to push and press the issue to try to get some sort of damage done. Because as this game goes on, he may just fall behind further and further. And you can see here, Magnath, he is well aware that his forte is going to be in holding this 3rd base and making sure the defense is more than manageable. Just barely almost catching these medevacs. He does move out onto the map. We see Lucasdart pushing up here. He has a pretty strong bioforce, but I don't think he wants to engage those Immortals. They just have way too much DPS to be able to shred through those Marauders. And you can see that Magnath feeling comfortable. He will take his 4th base now. Again, extending his lead further and further. And Lucasdart, he seems to be just working on his macro himself, throwing down more barracks, and he will get the Armory on the way finally, so he will start getting mech upgrades. Ghost Academy on the way as well. And that's really going to help with the army composition he's going for. He needs those ghosts, not only to maybe EMP the Protoss units, but he can also make sure that he removes all energy from either the sentries or perhaps the Templar that might want to get Storm down the line. But here we see Lucasdart seeing a moment of weakness from Magnath. He will try to push in a little bit. There's a couple Widow Mines here that will help deter some Zealots. But really, the attack should be focused on this 4th base here. I just don't think he realizes it's there. I think we will see him start to move out here. If you see from his point of view, he does now spot it. And I think this would be a huge pickoff for Lucasdart. Oh, unfortunately, that Cheeto does hits half of his own army. He does get the Nexus, so absolutely well worth it for now. He does need to retreat out of this area because he cannot lose this army. If the army goes down, then he really won't have anything to defend with back home. And you can see Lucas just saturating his 3rd now. So being on equal footing with the Protoss in terms of base count is really advantageous, as he was behind earlier. And you can see Protoss, he's starting to get into his robotics facility tech. We'll get the robotics bay up and another robo getting thrown down. I wonder what he's going to go into, whether it's going to be Colossus or the Disruptors. There are Ghosts out now, so the EMPs are going to become really effective in the upcoming fights. Let's see. Magnath seems to be poised for kind of a wraparound attack. He will flank the Terran army as Terran moves in here. And I don't know if Terran will be able to hold it if he gets trapped in here. You can see Protoss kind of late to pull the trigger. He hasn't moved down. He's going to lose his 3rd. This will be huge for Lucasdart. If Lucasdart can commit to killing the 3rd base here, Magnath will be quite far behind. And you can see the army is just shredding through the Protoss units. Magnath absolutely devastated right now. Losing the 3rd is a really bad situation to be in as Protoss. And more so if you just lost your 4th behind it as well. So you can see Magnath, he's kind of just going all in with the remaining forces he has. But the Liberators are already out. There's a handful of Marauders here. And the choke is quite tight there, but the Stalkers, they jump in. One Liberator immediately going down. The workers are pulled. But how much can Lucasdart afford to lose here in this defense? Magnath absolutely knows he needs to get the value here in order to recuperate from losing the 3rd. His immortal count is dropping. The workers are going to town on the Protoss units, and the remaining bio will clean it up, but at the cost of 25 workers. That being said, both players have lost a handful of workers, but Terran losing considerably more, which will kind of make this a seesaw of a match, as both players kind of have to get back up on their feet, brush their knees off, and decide how they're gonna get an advantage on the opponent. But again, Lucasdart is a Terran player. He has the opportunity to go for drops. He can do all kinds of nifty maneuvers to keep the Protoss not only busy on his side of the map, but to prevent an all-in situation like the one that just occurred. Lucasdart barely held, but he did well to pull the boys and clean up the forces of Magnath. Magnath just resupplying his original 4th base location, and you can see he's reconstructing his 3rd base at the time. But I don't know, Lucasdart looking very strong. He's on his 3-base economy. He is starting to mine out his main and his natural, so he's going to want to put down his 4th base as soon as he can, because he's in the lead now, so he could just play a little defensive from here on out and just make sure that he maxes out first, gets all his upgrades up first. He is up +1 in the attack and armor upgrades. So he's got +2/+2 right now, while Protoss only has +1. And here's the small forces of Zealots, trying to be cheeky here, trying to go for a run by, but they will meet the bulk of Terran's army. Magnath trying to saturate this base, but the threat of a looming Terran attack is just so great that if he splits his resources in both workers and army supply, he might not have what it takes to defend. Magnath doing what he can. He needs to keep the Terran at home while he recuperates. And I think these Zealot run-bys, although they're not getting too much value, it's actually moving Terran's forces back and forth between attack and defense. And I think there's some value in that. You can see Lucasdart, he's basically ready to go in for a big attack. He's going to shut down another base. And if he gets this base again, that really spells bad news for Magnath. There's just no defense here, no shield batteries, so immediately it will drop like a fly. Magnath's army finally comes in, and to be honest, Lucas scanned at the perfect time to be able to get a glimpse on everything here. He knows exactly what he's dealing with. Another DT Zealot run by. It's going to get a couple workers, but again, this is more so a distraction to try to get Terran's army out of there. Terran will come home to clean up, and you can see Protoss swinging in from the south. This is an interesting attack. If he can get the main base and a couple workers along with it, I think it would be worthwhile. But he cannot lose this army. He just has nothing behind this. If he loses this, it might be a situation where he just gets run over. Huge EMPs on everything. The Archons will disappear into powder, into dust, and the Colossus is basically the most valuable unit in this composition. But it's going to be too little, too late for Magnath. Lucasdart running it down. He knows he has his opponent beat, and the Protoss is just running for the hills. And I think Terran has done it. I think Terran has broke through Magnath's army, and we'll see the end of our first game in a best of 9. Little Manor Mule. Oh, a Manor Mule gets thrown down, guys. Manor Mule. So a little bit of spice, a little bit of BM. I like it. It's gonna hopefully spark a flame within Magnath's heart. Protoss doing what he can, but again, he's grasping at straws. GG is called. And there you have it. That is game number 1. An exciting start to the start of Destiny Hero Series number 4. Magnath versus Lucasdart. And so we'll put that down as 1-0 for our Terran player. Very well done. It did look scary for Terran at a couple points, but the way he shut down the bases and dealt with any kind of harassment, any Zealot run by immediately, it just put him so far ahead. Although Magnath was doing very well off the bat. So let's see what game the boys decide to go into, or which map they will choose. We'll just give it a minute here, guys, as both players are perhaps getting some water, stretching their hands. And map number 2 will be on Romanticide LE. For those of you just joining, this is the Destiny Hero series, organized by Destiny Star League. Shout out to our sponsors, Berserker Esports. Let's get right into game number 2. In the bottom right-hand side, it is our Protoss player representing Platinum Heroes. It's Magnath. And in the top left-hand corner, from Berserker Esports, it is the blue Terran player Lucasdart, currently up 1-0 in this best of 9. It was a pretty spicy start to the beginning of this series. Magnath had made a couple mistakes just in his army positioning, and it was just small mistakes that led to kind of a snowballing effect from the Terran, especially once the ghosts got involved, and a couple of those EMPs were just on the entire Protoss army. So of course, he will shred through them with a fully bio army. Let's see what Magnath goes for this game. He is down a match point. Maybe he'll go for something a little bit cheesier, maybe a little sneak attack. You can see he's just making, just based off his building positioning, it's a very carefree build. So I expect he's going to be aggressive. He's got his Nexus down. And Terran will come up and see there's nothing built here on the lower ground and a Nexus already thrown down. Lucasdart throwing down his own command center before the supply depot. Again, both players going for economy openers, getting early expansions. And the core is now about to finish for Magnath, so we can take a look and see if there will be any kind of early tech coming out of Magnath to put the pressure on. But again, both these players are high Masters players, usually in GM as well. I don't know if they've been placed in GM already, but obviously between each other they have a lot of respect. They know this can swing either way. It should be an exciting series to cast, guys. So I'm looking forward to the remaining games in this best of 9. This is truly a grudge match. We'll see these guys bring out every type of build they have, every type of cheese they have, and I'm sure it's going to go down to the wire. Reaper getting in for that scout now. He will just get proxied away by the Adept, but he jumps right back in after the Adept leaves. And he's going to see that the Stargate is almost done here, and the Terran can react appropriately to that. This Reaper has done his job. It got a full scout in the main. So good job, Magnath, for cleaning that up. The cat's kind of out of the bag. He's seen the Stargate opener. So Lucasdart will most likely make sure he has at least enough army to just deal with some kind of Oracle. But you can see here, Magnath opting for the Phoenix. I like the Phoenix opener. At this level of play, I have full faith that Magnath will show us how to use a Phoenix. It's just a unit that's requires a high level of micro, especially when you get into bigger fights with your armies. The Phoenix can make or break a fight. So I'm curious to see what Magnath goes for and how many he goes for. Already a Cyclone here defending. Expecting an Oracle, will find the Phoenix. Lifts it to cancel the lock-on, and the Phoenix will get out. You can see here's a Viking as well, just to reinforce. Magnath currently just taking his third. Got another Phoenix on the way. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Back at Lucasdart's base, we can see this is slightly a variance of a build, but he more or less is going for the same thing. There goes those barracks. He basically changed which units he would open with just to defend the Stargate. Oh, if he gets that Phoenix, that's a good pick off right there. Absolutely not worth for our Protoss player. It's going to be a lot more careful with these Phoenix. Speaking of which, one gets rallied to the Terran base. Magnath back home, fully saturated natural, and I'm sure he's going to transfer some workers over to his third here. And again, it's that moment where Protoss on 3-base economy, when he's fully saturated, really can pump out a lot of units and upgrades in a very short amount of time. But we'll see if Magnath goes for some sort of timing attack. It kind of seemed like in the last game he didn't hit what he wanted to hit. He couldn't make the game gravitate towards the type of attack he wanted to go for, and he ended up just kind of going for desperate all-in attacks. And I mean, the result of that was just Lucasdart getting further and further ahead. Here we go, we have Magnath just making sure he's going to be able to defend his third this time. We did see him lose his third and his fourth, I think 2 or 3 times, which is really what was devastating in terms of his growth and his progression in economy. So with his micro just basically completely determining if he'd win the game, he just didn't have the forces he needed or the army he needed to fight. These Phoenix not doing a bad job. He's going to make sure he doesn't lose any of them. Being cheeky, harassing where he can. He didn't really kill any workers, just a couple Marines. One Viking has gone down as well. Sorry, it wasn't a Marine. It was a Marauder that was killed. And again, Magnath prepping his own third, making sure, hopefully he's going to have some shield batteries here this time, because his bases were dropping way too quickly in the last match. You can see he already has some splash damage accumulating. He's got a couple Colossus here. Ideally, guys, you want to have 3, 4 in the minimum to be able to just absolutely devastate a bio army. You can see this is a Marine heavy army. But I wonder what Lucasdart will go for to kind of combat these Colossus. The Phoenix are going to be really annoying, but again, he's already getting Widow Mines to try to deal with them. Magnath just scouting out here, making sure the Terran is not sitting here ready to attack. Throws down his Nexus when he knows the coast is clear. Let's see how the boys are doing on upgrades. It looks like Terran's up 1-1 again. Lucasdart being very diligent in ensuring he has an upgrade advantage. I'm not sure if he realizes he has the advantage, but he's sticking to his build, and it really revolves around getting that +2 bio attack and armor. Meanwhile, Magnath just now throwing down his +1/+1. I don't know if that is just part of his build timing, but he's going to want to chrono that out. Basically, for the rest of the game, just continuous upgrades if he really wants to stay relevant in the fights. You can see this Colossus count slowly getting up to par. And finally, the Templar Archives finishes. And I really want to see Storms get incorporated into these this match. We didn't see it last game, and I think that really hindered him. Even some Disruptors coming out, that's going to be really useful. Again, Magnath is going to have a very micro-intensive army. He's going to have to basically make sure he doesn't lose the Phoenix or the Disruptors. Meanwhile, also getting maximum value from them, right? So the rest of his army will most likely just be moved into the forces, and he's just going to micro those 2 caster units. Terran's sitting pretty here. Hasn't thrown down his 4th yet. Magnath just now starting to saturate his own 4th base, and you can see Terran is starting to swing down there. That Zealot scouts exactly what's going on, even a pylon here just to ensure that he has vision on what's going on the left side of the map. You can see in the minimap, Magnath is dashing back because he realizes he's going to have to defend this. It's got a small group of zealots here. That'd be really good for a flank. Terran's moving in now. And you can see the zealot is starting to come down. We'll see if this flank works out. I think it should be very effective, actually. There's a healthy amount of Colossus here. The Phoenix will just shoot the medevacs out of the sky. And even the disruptor shots, a couple of them hitting the edges of Terran's army. And an landslide victory there for Magnath. Very well done. Magnath asking question mark. A little bit of confusion. He expected Lucasdart to be able to micro and manage that fight a little better, I expect. Lucasdart also probably kicking himself slightly. This force we're looking at is smaller than his original army. So holding a defense now is going to be monumental for Lucas, but I don't think he has what it takes. Magnath coming in hot and ready like Little Caesars. Lucasdart kind of cutting off the reinforcements here. That's a pretty good pickoff, but what does he have back home to defend? Medevac's getting picked off for free. The Phoenix killing the Viking on the right there. Even the Disruptors just going balls deep against the Bioforces. Nice EMPs, but there just isn't enough here to fight against this Protoss army. And I think Magnath's done it. He is securing game number 2. "25 workers, 30 workers down. Disruptor shots hitting every which way. And Magnath takes game number 2. It is 1-1, boys. GG, well played. I think it could have been a close game, but Lucas absolutely threw his army when he went to attack the 4th base. And he just couldn't recover after that. Hope you guys are enjoying. I'm sure we're just getting started. Lucas got a decisive victory in the first match. Magnath coming in very clutch in game number 2. Absolutely a wrecking ball to the Terran's base. And we are tied 1-1 now in this best of 9. And I expect it will go the distance. We will go to game number 9. At least that's where I would bet my chips. Game number 3 is going to be on Lightshade Ellie. Alright, in the top left-hand side, we have our pink Protoss player representing Platinum Heroes. This is Magnath. In the bottom right-hand side is the blue Terran representing Berserker Esports. This is Lucasdart. We are tied 1-1 in this best of 9. Both players playing quite well. I've seen almost no mistakes, maybe a few decision-making errors from both players in their own respective games. But this can go either way, guys. I have no idea who can take it here. We can see Magnath. This might be a fake cannon rush, just by what he's building back home. He's got an early extractor. He's got his gateway down. He lets the pylon finish. I'm curious what he's gonna go for here. So he's making it seem like it's cannons, but it is in fact not gonna be any cannons at all. Lucasdart has pulled 4 of his boys. The 5th one coming off of the barracks there. And it does delay a little bit of mining. But what will Magnath do with this advantage? And I like the idea. It's meant to fake your opponent out, and I'm sure Lucasdart had to kind of recalculate what his build is because he had to defend that. But for the most part, nothing too devastating done here in the beginning of the game. Magnath seems to be well on his way. He's got his expansion being built, although it's a little slower than it was in the last couple games due to this pylon getting thrown down. And he's going to have to remake that pylon somewhere back at home. Besides being inconvenienced slightly, Lucasdart is doing just fine. The Adept now on the way from Magnath. He's going to shade across the map and try to get some vision, try to get some scouting done, maybe even pick off a couple workers. You can see the Reaper is headed across the map himself. And hopefully there's something back home to defend. I don't know if the Stalker will be out just exactly in time, but I do not think so. I don't think that's how the math works. Adept picks off 1 Marine, is going for the 2nd one there. And the Reaper had to come back to defend this. The Worker is going to complete that command center there. Will he get picked off? Yes, he will get picked off. Oh, just barely gets away with his life. That Reaper is just sitting angry in the bunker right now. He's going to go out, try to get this Adept. Does pick it off. Oh, almost gets picked by the 2nd Adept. And this is pretty cheeky. This Adept is going to deny any sort of mining in that natural until it gets cleaned up. Here comes the Hellion. And now the Adept is long gone. Magnath going for the early blink this time. So we're going to see some Blink Stalker micro, folks. And that's really what I enjoy to... I like to watch a skilled Protoss work his Blink Stalkers. They're pretty devastating, very hard to deal with. So I wonder if Lucasdart has a plan of action for this kind of build. Yeah, he is going to get a full scout that this Twilight Council is getting chronoed. So there's the tank. It is well on the way. 2 more racks getting thrown down. And Starport with a tech lab, I imagine. Yep, it's going to be for that Raven he enjoys getting. The Raven can be very beneficial, even just in defense. If it has enough energy for turrets, that can kind of zone away Stalkers. But Magnath is here. He's already at the front of the base. 1 worker getting picked off there, but no real damage being done. The Stalkers, yeah, it's best that they rotate. What kind of defense will be up here on the high ground? With the Observer, Magnath knows exactly what he's dealing with here. And I think with enough Stalkers, he can absolutely make a move up here. The Warp Prism will lift the Stalkers, and I imagine he's going to have another Warp in round as well. Okay, So we're gonna see the start of this this harassment begin. Couple workers getting picked off there. 3 go down. Oh, can he get the Raven? It's very low. The turret is doing decent, but there's just not enough up here to fight these stalkers. And to be quite honest, I don't think Lucasdart has set up for a defense to deal with this. The tank does come up, but it's going to get picked off before it can fire off even 2 shots. And now it's just Marines versus Stalkers mostly, and that is bad news, especially because Stim is nowhere in sight. Lucasdart pulling everything he has to try to deal with this. Oh, the War Prism getting taken out is huge. Essentially, the Protoss can no longer continue the aggression until he gets that War Prism back. He's going to try to swing into the natural, get more workers before he gets ushered away. But a solid opener from Magnath. He's put Lucasdart well... Lucasdart still has quite a few... like, he's not behind in workers. And his army supply is up right now, almost by 15. But the harassment was pretty effective. It did delay a little bit of mining time. It's just unfortunate he lost the War Prism there. So meanwhile, back at Magnath's base, he's got his 3rd on the way. He's pumping out a couple of Immortals here. Zealot charge will be finishing in due time. And he's more or less untouched back at his base. And the harassment continues. He's just picking away at this bunker as long as he can. And I'm sure Lucasdart is gritting his teeth because it's incredibly annoying to deal with that. And Magnath is doing well to be annoying. We'll give him that much. Lucasdart scanning at the 3rd base location. He knows exactly how many workers are there. Gets his own command center being built on the high ground in his main base. So we'll see Lucas probably go for his own 3rd. I'm not too sure if he should fully commit to this attack. We saw last game he went for an attack in the 4th base of Magnath and lost his entire army and then just didn't have anything to defend back home. This is a very different timing of attack, of course, but let's see. +1 attack just finishes for Lucasdart, so that is really good. He's got the tank well out of sight. A Zealot is coming in. Tank isn't sieged. I think the Stalkers are going to go for the tanks. The Immortal is getting hit. The Zealots are tanking a lot of the firepower of the Bioforces here. And I don't think Lucas has enough here to really make or break Magnath. So let's see. I do respect that Lucas has the incentive to keep the pressure on Magnath because he is trying to take his own 3rd base right now. And he does not want Magnath knocking on his front door for the foreseeable future. So I think it is important to keep presence on Magnath's side of the map. Keep the pressure up. You can see here Magnath taking his own 4th. Just Protoss doing Protoss things. Small group of Zealots going for a little run by it looks like, but we'll see. There is no tank here at home. So it looks like Lucas did take his only tank for that last attack. He does have Widow Mines on the way, but for the time being, it's just a couple Marauders here defending. Oh, and Lucasdart finds the 4th. Forces the cancel immediately. Zealots are in the mineral line. They get 4 workers, 5 workers. And they've done their job. I think that was a solid Zealot run by, just because there was no defense there. A couple of Marauders, they just walked by them. Magnath, however, was forced to throw down his 4th once again. And you can see Lucasdart already oversaturated at his own third, so he can start focusing on getting his fourth. And I'm not too sure if Lucasdart is prepared, because he lost the last time he fought an army composition such as this. But let's see, there's no Templars, there's no Storm yet. Just 3 Colossus. He does have his own Ghosts out. I believe if he gets a Concave, he has a solid opportunity, but he cannot just take a headstrong fight. He can't A-move into that. And it looks like Lucasdart just playing a little bit more defensive for the time being. I think this is an excellent opportunity to do something like this. Go for small drops, go for small harassments that force Magnath to defend in different locations. Because in armies such as this, if it gets stretched, you can't have 3 Colossus defending every base. So wherever the Colossus aren't, that's where you can focus the bulk of your bio. So I do like this. I think he needs to basically double down on these little drops here. Gets back to the 4th base location of Magnath. And again, guys, this is not how Terran wants to fight here. Yeah, you do not want to go headstrong into that army composition. So again, Lucasdart kind of making a blunder there. He has a solid... he has a solid army. He's just working up to the right composition he needs to be able to do something. But just there, he lost way too much of his main army. And he's going to be playing on the back foot for the time being now. He does have his 4th base up. So he's neck and neck with Magnath in terms of base count. And this is all he has to do. He didn't need to commit to any kind of big fight. Just needs to go for some small drops, just so he can power up his own forces. But now you see, this army is a shade of its former self. There really is no force behind this. And it's only a matter of time until Magnath decides he's going to go for one of the bases. Again, a lot of respect between these two players. You can see Magnath being very cautious, making sure that he's not going to get blindsided with some sort of drop or an attack. I like these pylons. They can be used for various things. You can just warp units there, but more importantly, they give you some vision in these areas where some medevacs might fly out, a small bioforce might move out, and it'll signal to you that an attack is coming from the north. But here we are, Magnath is going to come here, forces the liftoff immediately. Lucas knows he's in deep trouble here. Fortunately, Lucas doesn't lose too much. 6 workers. A couple supply depots will go down. But it is important that he pulled his boys and he got the command center out of there. Magnath has done his job. He just needs to make sure he stays ahead in bases. Yet again, we see Lucas with the upgrade advantage. He's got his +3 attack and armor upgrades on the way now. And again, Lucas, all he needs to do is buy some time and survive so he can actually have a sizable force that can deal with Protoss. But it's going to be an uphill battle, that's for sure. Magnath sitting maxed out while Lucas is currently supply blocked. That kind of speaks for the state of this game. The underdog is Lucas in this match right now. So let's see what he can do. He's really going to have to work smart, not hard, to be able to make it out of this match with a victory. Here comes Magnath. Immediately jumping in onto the planetary there. A couple EMPs go off, but you can see it's just way more army here for Magnath. Excellent repairs on the planetary, so it is definitely not an efficient exchange. And it looks like Magnath just couldn't focus fire down the planetary in time. And he is going to be ushered out now. The tables have sort of turned. Lucas has a small opportunity here to get some value. The question marks. In the least, Lucas will be able to shut down the 5th base location, but there are 2 more bases getting thrown down in the south quadrant, and I think Magnath will be able to slowly resupply his army to defend. DTs in the 3rd base location of Lucas. Lucas will come back in time to clean it up. Fortunately, only 4 workers killed. Magnath almost going for a desperation attack there. If he had sent those DTs along with the main attack, I'm sure it would have been more beneficial for him. Now let's see what Lucas can do. He's feeling pretty strong. He's got a sizable army. He's got a huge supply lead. And it looks like Magnath kind of shot his own foot off. Here comes Magnath from behind. Doesn't really have a force that can deal with what Terran's pushing with here. There's no splash except for the Archons in this army. And they can only do so much, and they need to be face-checking the army. Terran's just stutter-stepping as he cleans up all these zealots. It's probably another EMP goes down on the Archons. They're going to become irrelevant now. And we can see here, Magnath is just hoping he has enough to deal with this, but it's going to be very difficult. Disruptor also getting picked off as just Stalkers here versus Stim Bio. I don't think Magnath has what it takes to continue to defend. There are Templars involved in the army, but nowhere near enough energy for Storms. And I think this will be the beginning of the end in game number 3. GG, well played. Lucas escaping the clutches of defeat. All right. Looks like game number 4. It's going to be on Death Aura. The boys are just taking a quick 30 seconds. So we will be hopping into game number 4 just in a few moments here. It's going to be on Death Aura. I'll just take this time to give a shout out to everybody tuning in today. Thank you for joining us. This is Destiny Heroes Series number 4, hosted by Destiny Star League. And today you have myself, it's King Shivy here casting for you guys. Special shout out to our sponsors, Berserker Esports. Thank you again for sponsoring us this season here in 2021. It's been an exciting first 3 matches, that's for sure. I do think that this game or this series will go the distance to game number 9. But again, I don't want to place any bets here, but I know it's going to be a banger. Here we go, game number 4 on Death Aura. Alright. In the top left-hand side, from Platinum Heroes, this is Magnath. In the bottom right-hand side, representing Berserker Esports, this is Lucasdart, our Terran player, currently up 2-1 in this best of 9. Let's see what kind of spicy build Magnath will pull out here. And we saw last game, he opened with a fake cannon rush. And it's gonna look like it's the same thing. He canceled a pylon even. I don't know if that was a mistake. That might have been to make it seem like it is a fake cannon rush. Lucas just sealing off his ramp here immediately. I'm sure he knows that the threat of a cannon rush can be very, very real. Magnath immediately throwing down a gateway here on the lower ground, and this is completely sealed off. Does the does the building trick to squeeze his worker right out of there, so a cannon will be on the way. And Lucas is in some serious trouble here. He's now throwing the bunker down. He knows he's going to have to hold here. This is not going to be a normal game, folks. Cancels the bunker because he knows it's going to be in range of the cannon. And the cannon starts to chip away at the supply depot here on the ramp. But what will Lucas do next? Magnath, his gateway now complete. Let's see if he's just going to go try to get a core. Back home, he's taking his gas, got the cybernetics core on the way. Magnath with a pretty effective opener here. Lucasdart is having to relocate everything. Instant GG. Magnath with a clean build. Very clean build. I don't even know what to tell you guys there. I could not have predicted that. And that will tie this series up. I don't know what else to say about that match. But it is 2-2. The boys are ready to start game number 5. This is going to be on Jugnatha LE. And I'm sure Lucas is slightly annoyed that he just basically gave a matchup within 4 or 5 minutes. Alright, in the top right hand side, it is our pink Protoss player representing Platinum Heroes. This is Magnath. And in the bottom left hand side, our now red Terran player. This is Lucasdart from Berserker Esports. It was a very cheeky cannon rush that paid off in full return for Magnath. It has brought him back into the game. It is a tied series 2-2. This is game number 5 on Jugnatha LE, and I'm curious, will Magnath go for another cheeky play here to try to end this game short? This time, no Forge being thrown down for Magnath, so it's not a cannon rush. Lucasdart on his way to scout. And let's keep an eye on this probe, because it seems like this probe is going places. It seems like this probe is going to do big things. I think Lucasdart will realize something is up, because there's no Nexus getting thrown down. Oh, folks. I do believe we're going to see some sort of proxy Void Ray play. I have seen it with just an Oracle opener into Void Ray, but either which way, it's bad news if the Terran is not preparing a defense for something like this. You can see Lucas's worker. He's here. He knows that there's no Nexus, and it should be an alarm ringing in his head for that. He has a factory on the way. He's getting his second refinery. Bunker gets thrown down as well, so definitely knows that he is in threat of an attack. The Reaper does find the Stargate, sees the shield battery. There's a probe here, but it cannot die. Not yet. It's going to decide to fight the Reaper. This is an epic battle. And the Reaper gets into the high ground. And the trap is set, to be honest. There's not much you can do about cleaning this up. But now it will depend on whether he can defend this properly. He needs Cyclones ASAP. And he needs Vikings ASAP. The Voyager is going to fly in all for free here. Nothing really here that can defend against this. We do see the tech lab about to finish. There's the Cyclone in production now. That bunker goes down for free. And that's just one Void Ray, folks. But what can we do with 2? And this truly is a devastating attack. Very hard to defend with. So Magnath holding no punches this match. He's going for the jugular. And the Cyclone comes out. He knows he needs to power that down immediately. And that will be GG. Magnath taking the lead within 2 games, within 6 minutes. Well played. I think those build orders really threw a wrench in Lucasdart's game plan. He did find the proxy, but it was far too late. The shield battery was already up. A Voidery was on the way. Game number 6 out of 9. It's going to be on Pillars of Gold. The boys are ready. We're hopping right into it. All right. We are back. Game number 6. In the top right-hand side, we have our pink Protoss player representing Platinum Heroes. He is currently in the lead. This is Magnath. On the bottom left-hand side, it is our blue Terran player representing Berserker Esports. This is Lucasdart. And it looks like he's back to being blue. The red did not work out. It was clashing with his style. Let's see if he feels more comfortable this game in his own skin. Let's see if Magnath will let Lucas even play the game. The last 2 games were very decisive, and it seemed like Lucas just didn't have an answer for those cheese builds. It looks like Magnath is going for another early aggression build. It doesn't look like he has any intentions of getting his Nexus up. I'm curious what kind of tech he's going to go for. Is it going to be DTs? Is it going to be a Stargate? We just don't know, but we do know is going to be some kind of cheese. I'm not too sure. What did he cancel? I think it was a gateway. I think he canceled the gateway here. Alright, so Lucas does get up here and scan the base. Doesn't see any Nexuses. Looks like we're going to have a Stargate opener once again. The Reaper scouring the map, looking for the proxy. Even another worker looking around. Will he find it? The Reaper does, in fact, manage to find the proxy location. And this is pretty good for Lucas. I mean, he has an opportunity that he can try to shut that down, but will he have the right amount of units to do that? It doesn't look like it. He's keeping his Marines back at home. The Reaper just continues to scout the Protoss base. Still no Nexus. So you can tell this is going to be pretty all in. But can Lucas mount a defense this game? Oh, and this probe is going to put down a couple pylons, a couple shield batteries. And that is going to be bad news, yep. Lucas realizes what's going on. He's going to have to clear this out immediately. Where's that Reaper? Okay, he's going to put down 1 battery gets thrown down. It will get destroyed immediately. Really well done by Lucas. Crisis control is so far so good, but here comes the Void Ray. The Void Ray and a single Adept here. That's definitely more than enough to deal with 3 Marines. No bunker here, so the Marines are running for it. Alright, now we're gonna see, can one Void Ray just win the game in a Masters series? And this is just so difficult to deal with when the Void Ray's out here this early. I really respect the positioning of the bunkers. He has prepared well for this attack. Can he get that one Void Ray? It is so low. And all the Marines are gone now. Let's see when the Cyclone comes out. If it can lock on. It locks onto the wrong Void Ray. And that is difficult. That is difficult. Because that Void Ray can recharge its shield and come back to harass again. But Lucas is not out of this game. That's the good news, folks. Last match, we just saw him tap out. But this match, he has a fighting chance. I think he can power up a Void Ray killing force and possibly move out on the map after that. Oh, the Cyclone barely getting that Void Ray. And if this Cyclone dies, guys, oh, this spells really bad news for Lucasdart. He's basically losing the 1 unit that can outright counter these Void Rays. And right there was a 1-for-1 trade. 1 Void Ray finally goes down. Let's see. Magnath, he's not going all in anymore. He's making sure that he just keeps Terran number low. Make sure that his cyclone count doesn't exceed something that's manageable. And Lucasdart really just hemorrhaged right now. He's losing tons of units, trying to take out these Void Rays. Does get one. Second one finally going down. Magnath kind of caught macroing back home by the looks of it. And well done by Lucas. He is holding on for dear life, that's for sure. Back home, you can see Magnath slowly saturating his natural. He spent a lot of resources on the attack, lost a lot of Void Rays. The advantage he has is his base is well ahead of Lucas's. And if we look at the units lost here, you can see it is quite similar in losses. Terran slightly behind more. And Magnath feeling comfortable, he throws down his third base. This is going to be difficult because the build order Lucas wanted to go for basically went out the window. So he's basically playing catch up in terms of getting the unit composition he needs. Meg Field Accelerator just about to finish. That's really going to help have these Cyclones do a lot more damage. Comes some Phoenix flying across the map. They're probably just going to go in here for a little scout. Magnath throwing down 3 more gateways. Blink is on the way. I think that's a really clever tech switch. It's only got the 2 Phoenix. He isn't making anything else from his Stargate. Robotics thrown down. So we will see what the Blink Stalkers can do. He absolutely has an opportunity to come back and harass the main with the Blink Stalkers. And again, it's going to split Lucasdart's defense. He just can't defend his natural and his main against Blink Stalkers. So if Magnath controls his units well, I think he's got this in the bag. If he makes a terrible mistake and loses his entire army, Lucas may have an opportunity to just march across the map. Magnath's third very quickly being saturated. Forge and the Templar Archives, both about to finish shortly. Oh, and the Stalkers catch the army on the move. Let's see what Lucasdart will go for here. Oh, Medevac's getting sniped by the Stalkers. Huge pick off there. And it looks like Lucas is charging across the map. Magnath has recalled his army, so he should be prepared to defend. But is there enough here for Lucas? He's got 1 tank. It's pocketed in the Medevac right now. And the Bioforce is just tearing through the Stalkers. Cyclone gets lifted. And the Zealots, they're so beefy, but what can they do against this much Bio? Excellent micro from Lucas. Now the probes will join the fray. This is looking real bad for Magnath. Zealots are a good unit, but 23 workers have been taken out. Even if Magnath cleans this up, he is considerably behind. This tank is gonna pay the ultimate price. But really well done by Lucas. I think also a smart decision to pull back. He does not need to hemorrhage his forces. We saw in game number 2 how quickly things can change for Terran when he loses his entire army. You just can't outproduce a Protoss if they decide to just go all in. Magnath, an explosion of gateways. He's getting ready for something big. He knows he's behind. And looks like Lucas also realizes he cannot sit idly and let Magnath get back up on his feet. Let's see if this observer does scout the army or not. If the observer won't, I'm sure this probe will see it. There we go. Magnath must have a really good idea of what's going on now. And Terran tries to dart up the ramp, but that is not where you want to be. Most of the charge lots have fallen. So I think Lucasdart absolutely can micro his way to defeating this small force. But the Archons, if they get too much splash, they might be able to clean up. Really good defense by Magnath. Oh, will this pop off? Oh, that would have been crazy. So again, Magnath restabilized. This is nowhere near the level of macro that Magnath had in game number 2. He's kind of been hemorrhaged, especially after losing the 30 workers. So Lucasdart still in this game, still has a very good chance at winning it. But again, Protoss, they can become very efficient, very cost efficient as their tech complexity increases. So once you get the splash damage involved, once you get some storms in there, the bioforces really start to fall off. The Widowmine looks like it did pop off on something. I'm not too sure what it hit. Maybe a worker. Magnath being very diligent about protecting his bases, protecting his blind spots. I think those are just good habits. You can tell by the level of these guys' play. Lucasdart. He has a sizable force here. Tied in with the Liberator, I think he has a solid window of opportunity here. The Colossus count is nowhere near enough to be able to deal the kind of damage you want to a Bioforce. So let's see if Lucas identifies that he does have that advantage. Again, you can see on the minimap, Magnath very, very diligent about having his scouting, having proxy pylons set out on the map just to be able to see any kind of attacks on the pylon here, here, here. This is an observer, so he's not gonna get blindsided this game. That's for sure. Magnath out on the map, catches Lucas's army here, but is there enough to deal with it? This is looking pretty rough for Magnath. If he loses these Colossus, it's over. Wrong place, wrong time, Magnath, my friend. Wrong place, wrong time. And you can see it's just such an overwhelming amount of units here. The Colossus count being shriveled into what you would ideally want. And there's the GG. Well played. Great match. Both players playing out of their minds. I love to see it, every type of play come out in these best of 9 series. There's nothing you can really hide in terms of your different varieties of builds and cheeses. So I'm sure as we approach game number 9, we're going to see it all. We're going to see everything. And let me just fix this score here. That will put the series at 3-3 with Lucasdart clutching a victory in that last match. Game number 7 is going to be on Submarine LE. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as well. Everybody on Trovo, please follow Destiny Star League. That's trovo.live/Destiny Star League. And everybody tuning in on Twitch, on my channel, thank you for tuning in. And definitely drop a follow if you want to see some more StarCraft. We typically try to do these on weekends. The beginning of the year just been a little slow, but I'm sure we'll get up to speed as the year goes on. Special shout out to Berserker Esports for sponsoring us this year as well. And of course, Destiny Star League for organizing the tournaments and events. All right. This is game number 7 in the bottom right-hand side, representing Platinum Heroes. It is our Protoss player, Magnath. In the top left-hand side, from Team Berserker Esports, this is our Blue Terran player, Lucasdart. Alright, no Forge off the bat, so we will not be seeing a cannon rush. Looks like Magnath is trying to slip back into his macro build. A little bit more comfortable, you know, throw your macro on. The micro might be a little tight. The cheeses aren't fitting properly, so he's gonna stick to his economy. And I think Lucasdart did very well again to pull the trigger when he had a clear advantage. And Magnath not getting up to that ideal splash damage you want against such a Bioforce. So I wonder if he's going to be able to kind of tweak and deviate his build so he can have that splash. Because it looks like he just keeps losing fights when he doesn't have enough splash. There goes the Nexus into the core. Pretty standard openings. And I'm sure Lucas is relieved that it isn't some sort of proxy Stargate or a cannon rush. But as I say that, we have a wandering probe. Alright, this is the Bilbo Baggins of probes. He's going on an adventure. We're not sure what to expect. So, as soon as the core is done, I'm sure we'll see what kind of tech choice. Oh, the Reaper is actually looking. Oh, he's just gonna miss this. Oh, he changes the pathing. He's manually controlling this Reaper. He knows something's up. On the other side of the map, SCV is just as diligently scouting, but nothing yet. Alright, so the Robo facility goes down. And I'm curious what he's going to go for. I really am. We've seen him go for the DTs. But I don't see a Twilight Council in sight. Maybe this might just be old-fashioned all-in. A nice little two-base all-in, pardon me. Back home for Terran. I mean, what can you do but prepare for everything, right? Am I right, Terrans? Just sit at home and prepare to defend everything. The Reaper's going to come in, try to get another scout. I'm sure he's going to think something is fishy. There's no... Like, there's 2 pylons missing from this base. Looking at this base, it's kind of like those picture books where you look at an image and then they show you the same image and they ask you what's missing. And if Lucasdart can realize there's no pylons here, then I think he will be making army units for the remainder of this game. He does not have time or resources to be macroing up. One tank sitting out on... Like, the tank is so far up that it's going to instantly get picked off. Let's see. He's waiting for the War Prism to kind of pull the trigger on this attack. Reaper getting free kills here. I'm sure it will eventually get shut down. But here comes the attack. Sorry I missed that, guys. But yeah, the tank immediately got sniped. And now it's up to Lucas. Let's see how good his crisis management is. Another tank on the way, but losing that first one is such a devastating blow. You just can't siege both your natural and your high ground. And that's really what's going to be the reason he gets broken apart and split. Magnath being very brave, actually just attacking from the front, killing tons of workers. Pretty good War Prism micro, sends the Immortal on the tank. But he's lost so many Stalkers for this. Almost loses the Immortal. I think Magnath bit off a bit more than he could chew. It would have been much smarter to land up here in the high ground. But I believe he thought he had it. He had the right amount of units to be able to take it, but he did not. And at this point, he seems to be kind of hemorrhaging his forces. So things have kind of swung into Lucas's favor. Back at home, you can see Magnath not even fully saturated in his natural. While Lucas, he's got quite a worker lead. Even after losing a few there. And the boys are back. Let's go, pull everybody. Everybody's on the way. I don't know if Magnath will see this. Magnath is actually probing up right now. So he's going to be completely blindsided. 2 eras. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you tuning in, man. And I do believe this will be the end here. 3 tanks, handful of bio, 1 medevac. More than enough to lay siege to a base. But I think here, along with the workers, he'll be able to just close this game out. Yeah, Magnath just supply blocked for the time being. He can't even make more reinforcements. Lucasdart, again, the game sense with this kid is so good that he knows exactly when to snap call and go all in, walk across the map, and absolutely secure the victory. Magnath kind of being squeezed into a box here. I'm not too sure what he can do. This Nexus out here, this is kind of a desperation move. If Lucasdart makes a terrible, terrible mistake, then perhaps Magnath can reinforce his natural, which is way out here now. And maybe he'll be able to clean up. But again, so much has to go wrong for Lucasdart for it to end up in that scenario. And this is a clean siege. Like, Magnath will have to break this by trading very inefficiently. So I'm not sure if he can afford that kind of inefficiency right now. You can see Lucasdart just streamlining reinforcements across the map. This is a smart move. I think Magnath, if he can flank some of those tanks, he has a solid opportunity. But the time is running lower and lower. This is kind of mistimed. These Zealots are just going to take hits for free. Magnath doing what he can, but no... I think one tank went down. Yeah, it was a shot in the dark for Magnath after he didn't win with his first push, but he held in there. He tried his best. GG, well played to both players. I want to shout out everybody for tuning in. Thank you for joining us here in the Destiny Heroes series number 4. And I just want to give a pat on the back to both Magnath and Lucasdart for getting in on this best of 9. They're giving us a hell of a show. It's been a lot of fun so far. And it looks like they're just ready to jump into the next game. Just updating the score on my end here right now. Magnath behind. The score is 3-4. And Lucasdart looking pretty unstoppable. When he sees an opportunity, he strikes, man. This guy goes for the jugular. Again, shout out to Berserker Esports for sponsoring this event, and Destiny Star League for organizing. We have a lot of good tournaments, a lot of good people here, and a strong community of very intelligent players. So it's always a pleasure to cast. All right. In the top right-hand side, we have our pink Protoss player from Platinum Heroes. This is Magnath. On the bottom left-hand side, currently up 1 match point, it is our red Terran player from Berserker Esports. This is Lucasdart. It's been a pretty spicy series so far. Lucasdart has come back from almost losing his macro games into dominating them. And I've seen that Magnath has a really good early game. And some of his builds, some of his cannon rushes, or his proxy void ray builds are almost unstoppable. So let's see what he tries to go for this game. I'm sure both players are feeling a little bit of fatigue, but again, both these guys are in Masters 2, Masters 3, and I think last season they were in Master 1. So there's some room for improvement. And that being said, these guys are young, so I'm sure you'll see them around in various tournaments upcoming. Lucasdart will go up to Scout. Confirms there's a Nexus there, so a sigh of relief, I imagine. And by the looks of it, it looks like Magnath is going for another proxy play. Lucas has been very good to kind of over-scout all across the map. And he usually does end up finding these proxies. And we'll see the Reaper begin to make his rounds. And as long as he finds the proxy, I do believe that it will be worthwhile for him. You can see on the right side of the map, Lucasdart got his SCV scouting as well. The probe gets caught. Magnath's probe gets found on the northwest corner of the map, and the Reaper will find the proxy as well. Another Stargate play. So cat's out of the bag. It's on Lucasdart to defend the Stargate opener. So let's see where this game goes. Here comes the Reaper. He's going to hop up. And I like that he can just jump up on that side. The block doesn't do anything. Magnath laughing. Yeah, so the Reaper will get up. He'll scout exactly what's going on back home. Starport on the way for Lucasdart. I imagine he's going to get that Viking up as soon as he can. But what does he have here to defend against the Oracle? Double Marine production. You're going to need more than that, I imagine. Maybe this Reaper will buy time. No, the Oracle will go straight to the mineral line. Back home. 2 more gateways getting thrown down for our Protoss player. And let's see what kind of damage he can get done here. As long as he doesn't lose the Oracle, I can't complain. Picked off a couple workers. Got a full scout of everything that's going on, so no harm, no foul. But what will his transition be from here? He's making more Oracles. He's got a few Adepts on the way. And it looks like our Terran player is going to get that early Raven we've seen in game number 1 and 2. Reaper heading back home. He will encounter the rest of Protoss' army. It's an interesting play. Yeah, I don't know. He kind of lost the Oracles for free there. A little bit of missed micro. It would have been really nice to have 3 Oracles, because then they can just fly into the mineral line and wreck everything. But kind of a blunder from Magnath. And again, we can't be too critical, I suppose. This is a long series. The boys are right now on game number 8. So the fatigue is definitely creeping in. Back home for Lucas, he is super focused on defense, as he should be, because it looks like Magnath is being the aggressor. So both players playing their part. Magnath scouts that Lucas scouts that the 3rd base for Protoss is up. But there's not too much he can do about it. Right now, there's still a threat of an attack. Oracle's just coming in here, revealing everything. And really, really good defense by Lucas. I don't think Magnath can do much of anything. Oh, that'd be a solid pick off. A tank for free. I mean, that's pretty worth. Comes in here, gets a couple workers even. And that Oracle will die. Second one does get away with the skin of its teeth. Magnath getting charged lots. He's got some Archons. And here we go again. Lucasdart just kind of having a 6th sense about where his opponent's at and whether or not he can strike. Now, this is definitely going to be dicey. I don't see any medevacs here. So the splash damage from Archons is going to be so effective. Only 1 tank here. Oracle actually scouts the army moving out. And this pylon here basically does its job for cheaper than normal. Normally you have to have the pylon complete. And it looks like, I think Lucas realizes that he had an advantage when it was a surprise. Now with the medevacs here, I'm sure he has a better chance at chasing this army down. Stim units just picking off units for free. Magnath has his 4th base up. And I think Lucas is just going to go for a 2-base all-in. I don't see a 3rd command center. Oh, actually, it was here on the high ground. So forget what I said. There is a 3rd base on the way for Lucas, but he might not need it, depending on how this siege goes. And this is a pretty scary, scary positioning here. Our Protoss player should be very concerned. He doesn't really have the best opportunity. He's going for a zealot run by the looks of it. And just there, Terran decides he's going to back up and reinforce with even more units. And it looks like he's ready to put his 3rd down. And you can see Protoss has quite a sizable force now. That is a lot of charge lots. 20 charge lots, they can tank a whole lot of fire. But what do you have behind it? 4 Archons are really good. They kind of get nullified when the ghosts are out, but there are no ghosts out on the map yet. Matter of fact, scanning Terran's base, there's no Ghost Academy either. It's kind of a misstep by Lucas, especially against this army. Oh, getting squished against the rocks, even losing a whole lot of units there. Protoss is running for the hills, but Terran's gonna chase him down. Pretty good grab by Lucas, just turning on the army and stimming it instantly. And now the siege will continue in this position between the 3rd and the 4th. Oh, huge EMPs there. I don't know where the ghosts are hiding. There they are. Looks like 1 ghost managed to make it up here. That guy's going to be pulling a lot of the weight for this army. Ooh, that Viking is going to kill the Oracle. Gets out with his life. Very well done. The 4th base is basically void now. It's not going to be able to mine, and it will slowly be picked off. Lucasdart showcasing he's got what it takes to go the distance. The decision making is almost flawless, I would say. He hasn't overextended, and he's actually pushing and putting pressure on at the exact right times. Magnath desperately making his 4th at the new location, but he's still got an army to deal with, and I think that should be his main point of focus. Ghost coming in, hitting EMP on the sentry. Excellent EMP. Those sentries have 0 energy now. And the choke here is not going to be in benefit of Magnath at all. You can tell just by the supply difference that Magnath is kind of running out of gas here. Lucasdart with a phenomenal siege. Here comes... Oh, I thought he was just going to go all in there, but realizes the army is still hanging out here. 6 zealots going in for a small run by the looks of it. Are they going straight for the 4th base or the 3rd? Meanwhile, looks like Terran opened up the rocks. They'll have a nicer concave now. And there's just way too much bio here and not enough splash to deal with any of this. I'm not too sure what Magnath can do here to try to make a move. Try to break the siege. The Zealots and the Stalkers will not cut it against this army. And although it's been a fantastic series, I thought this would be able to go to game number 9. But you can see here, Lucasdart doing quite well against the Protoss. The Bioforce is kind of shrinking here. A lot of them went down in that last engagement. Most of that is attributed to the fact that Protoss hit +2, and Terran has only stayed on +1. Now, there might be a small opportunity for Magnath to make a comeback. A very small opportunity, because once his +3 hits, he's really going to start shredding through this bio. I genuinely believe he is waiting for that, but Terran's +2 is also going to kick in. So let's see what he can get done. 2 Colossus here now with this army. If he loses those Colossus, it's over. Shield overcharge activated. 1 Colossus just getting pounded in the back line there. And there's just way too much bio here. Zealots tanking what they can. The 1 Colossus still alive. Here comes +3 attack for Protoss. Finishing in 5 seconds. And he goes for the final attack, it seems like. And you can see the +3 actually doing so much, but there's just nothing left here to fight. There's nothing left here to reinforce with. And I think Terran, if he micros well, he can just clean up whatever shows up. You can see Terran now on his 4 bases of his own. Almost all of them saturated. I think once he gets the gas at this 4th base location, his economy is going to be so dangerous. Protoss still hanging on for dear life. He's still in the game. Luckily for him, Terran hasn't tried to attack this base location, but I think he will shortly. Yeah, I think Lucas is starting to realize he must be making money somewhere on the map. Neither player going for any further upgrades at this point. Uh-oh. Terran's got to be careful here. He can't get surrounded and boxed in. Otherwise, he has no opportunity to retreat. There's 3 ghosts included with this army. If they hit their EMPs, this will be huge. Disruptors doing what they can to zone away the Terran. 1 disruptor, 2 disruptor down. This is looking really bad for Magnath now. And once the Zealots are cleaned up, there's nothing left to tank the bio. And I do think this is the beginning of the end here, folks. And that is it. GG, well played. Really well done by both players. That was very exciting, and a lot of fun. But there you have it, folks. All good things must come to an end. And Lucasdart takes the series. It was a best of 9. He wins 5-3. And that was a nail biter, guys. I cannot tell you how close that was and how some of those matches could have gone either which way. But Lucasdart coming out ahead. Just some really strong decision making, some really good game sense, and I mean, fatigue is obviously a factor, especially in those last few games. So for them to play at the ability that they were playing and maintaining that kind of consistency, it is a really good sign for them. I'm sure they have much to improve on still, and you haven't seen the last of either of these players. But congratulations to Lucasdart for winning, and congratulations for Magnath for giving us a hell of a show as well. Shout out to Destiny Star League for organizing this, and to Berserker Esports for sponsoring us this year for 2021. If you guys enjoyed what you were watching and you would like to see more high-level tournaments, please follow Destiny Star League on trovo.live Destiny Star League. It's been a pleasure casting for you today. I myself am King Shivy. You can find me on twitch.tv. I usually cast both here on Trovo and on Twitch for that. And hopefully we have a lot more tournaments coming up for you guys. Special shout out to Alpha X Sniper. He's kind of the man behind organizing everything, so special shout out to him. And there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your days. Enjoy your Sunday for those of you watching the Super Bowl. I hope you have a fantastic night wherever you are. And last but not least, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the viewership, and hopefully you guys also were entertained along with that. All right, guys, take care and enjoy the rest of your days.